You know, the whole time I was reading this, I kept wondering why it wasn't on like the reading list when I was in school. Like we would always get a reading list for this summer, but I don't ever remember this being on there. And I feel like this would have been a good book to read as a kid. A Wrinkle in Time follows a girl named Meg, her twin brothers Denny's and Sandy, her little brother Charles Wallace, and her mother and father, um, Mr. and Mrs. Murray. And also Mrs. Who, Mrs. What's It, and Mrs. Which. Can't forget them. Oh, and Calvin too. A Wrinkle in Time follows Meg on her journey with Charles Wallace, Calvin, Mrs. What's It, Mrs. Who, and Mrs. Which to find her father after he disappears after using this experiment that he and Meg's mother created called a tesseract, which allows them to travel to various universes. When Meg's father disappears, it's kind of like she's just given up on life. Like she doesn't really try to participate in school. I don't think she has any friends. And she's a very intelligent young girl. But it's like her little brother Charles Wallace has like this intuition when something is going on with her and her mother. Like he is always there to help take care of them when they need, like when they're going through something. It's kind of like he feels it, so he knows when to show up and how to offer them what they need. One day, Charles Wallace befriends Mrs. What's It and Mrs. Who, and along the way on their journey to finding their father, they all meet Mrs. Which. And on their journey, they learn about what they call the it. It's like this darkness that just kind of consumes everyone, and it just presents as this negative energy. So while they're there, they end up finding their father in the it, and they try to save him. But while they're there, Charles Wallace kind of gets trapped there, and Meg is trying to figure out how she can save him. Along their journey, Meg, Calvin, and Charles Wallace learn things about themselves, especially Meg. Like she ends up seeing that she's a lot more capable than she gives herself credit for, and her flaws are nothing negative. They're actually something positive that she can use, and how powerful and strong love really is. And it's such a beautiful story. Even if you don't read it, it's also a movie on Disney Plus, and it's probably on some other platforms as well. But I thought it was a very encouraging, nice book, an amazing story. It's very short read. I think it's like 12 chapters. But if you give it a shot, let me know if you've ever read it before. Also let me know. And then there are also 4 other books. Wind in the Door, Swiftly Tilting Planet, Many Waters, and Acceptable Time. But yeah, let me know if you ever read A Wrinkle in Time or watched the film. I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was very encouraging of how, like, don't limit yourself. And like I said, your flaws aren't a negative thing. They're actually positive, and you're more capable of a lot of things than you give yourself credit for. And anything is possible. Like, I thought this was a great book. But yeah, let me know if you read it, and happy reading.